Hey, yo, welcome everyone to tonight's class. Thank you so much for making it to tonight's session here at Excellence Academy. Today's topic is going to be called Conversation Fillers to Manage Job Interview Questions. This is part two of our classes in terms of regarding conversation fillers to manage job interview questions. As of lately, we've been discussing how to manage job interview questions and how to speak naturally at a job interview. And we're using call center job interview questions as our context of speech. First, we're going to begin again by checking out the example responses to several questions that we did last time, and we've highlighted, right? We put in boldface the phrases, the vocabulary, expressions, colloquialisms, whatnot, that we're going to target in the responses. So if you learn this vocabulary, you'll enrich your vocabulary and you'll be able to add this to your vocabulary in order to manage job interview questions and use proper vocabulary for this. Okay, I think we got the audio rolling here.
Hi, I'm Adam. Thank you for taking this video call. I also understand you might feel a bit nervous, but let me tell you, it's only normal. Anyway, let's get started. You will hear a series of screening questions for a call center job interview. After the sound, you'll have 1 minute to provide your answer. As a tip, try to sound natural and conversational as you respond. Let's begin. 1. Have you thought about living and working in Canada? 2. What do you think about working and studying at the same time? 1. 3. Do you have any weaknesses? 4. When was the last time you took a good vacation? 5. How do you feel about working from home? 6. What company has the best customer service in your country? 7. Have you ever thought about getting a tattoo? 8. Why are young people and adults attracted to working for call centers? 9. What would you save in a burning building situation?
Okay, so there you go. Those are the questions. And now let's try to listen to the responses and we'll discuss the vocabulary.
Oh, yeah.
Here it goes.
I've actually thought about living and working in Canada. It seems like a cool place, I mean, the maple syrup, the friendly people and all. But, I guess the cold weather might take some getting used to. You know what I mean? Well, working and studying at the same time, that's a good one. I guess it's kind of like multitasking, right? Like, you gotta juggle work and studies, but I believe it can be super rewarding. Gaining experience and getting an education, it's like killing two birds with one stone in a way. Weaknesses? Let me think. Well, I guess one weakness is that I can be a bit of a perfectionist. Like, I want to make sure everything is just right. You know what I mean? But I'm working on it, and I think it can also be a strength, like paying attention to details and stuff. Oh, the last time I took a good vacation? That's a tough one. Well, I guess it was like a year ago or something. I went to the beach with my friends. It was kind of like a chill vibe, just relaxing and enjoying the sun. I mean, everyone needs a break from the hustle, right? Working from home, huh? Well, it's like a mixed bag, I guess. On one hand, you got the comfy pajamas and no commute, which is awesome. But on the other hand, it can get kind of lonely, Like, I miss the office banter and stuff, but hey, I guess it's the new normal. Best customer service in Guatemala? Let me think. Well, I guess, everyone has their own opinion, right? But I've heard, good things about 𝐕𝐧𝐭𝐞𝐫𝐲. They're, always on top of things and really friendly. I mean, who doesn't love good customer service, right? Getting a tattoo? Well, that's a cool topic. I've actually thought about it, maybe something small and meaningful. But I guess I'm still deciding on what to get. It's a big step. You know what I mean? Young people and call centers? Interesting. Well, I think it's, a great opportunity, Call centers offer flexibility and a chance to develop communication skills. Plus, the environment can be kind of vibrant, and there's, room for growth. It's a good starting point, I believe. Saving stuff in a burning building? Oh, wow, that's a tough one. I mean, obviously people and pets first, But if I had to save, a thing, I guess it would be, my laptop. It's got all my memories and important stuff, you know what I mean? But safety first, always.
Perfect. So there are two aspects to natural conversation, as you might remember. Let me refresh your memory. Number one, we need to use expressions, colloquialisms, sometimes even vernacular expressions in the way that we speak English. It's part of communicating and connecting with native speakers of English. The second element is using conversational fillers to sound natural and to manage and to give us time to gather our thoughts. So in our last session, we discussed the importance of conversational fillers. And we saw how it was done in these responses, how they were given. Now let's take a look at the vocabulary and take a look at some expressions that you might want to use. I'll go over them really quickly. I've included a full detailed list below, so you can read that later. I'll just give you some examples based on the context of the interview that we've got going on here. So here are the girl says the maple syrup. Canada is very famous for its maple syrup. It's a special tree. Have you guys seen the Canadian flag? It's got this leaf in the center. And this is the maple leaf, which is the symbol of Canada. It's one of the most ubiquitous trees in the country. And this tree has a special kind of, let's say, honey. It produces like a special honey. And this honey is collected, and of course, it's used for pancakes and as sweeteners. So Canada is famous for its maple syrup. When she says here and all, it's like she's making a list of the things that she knows about Canada. The maple syrup, the friendly people, and all. When she says and all, it means and everything included, and all. So for example, if you ask me, hey, Mystery, what do you like about McDonald's? Oh, dude, I like the Big Mac, you know, I like the French fries and the sundaes, and you know, I just like the service and all. It's a nice environment. So it means everything and everything. Here she continues by saying the weather, the cold weather, might take some time getting used to. So here she's starting with the modal verb might, which is used to describe a very low possibility. So it's very likely, right? But when she says here the phrase, she uses it in the context, it might take some time. So what she's saying there is it'll possibly take some time to get used to. So here we're using the modal collocation, the modal like phrase, get plus used to refer to something that we are acquainted with or something that we are familiar with. So it'll take some time to become familiar with the cold weather. That's what she's saying there. So to get used to means to get familiar. Okay. Moving on now to number 2. I'll just go over some of them due to the time. So here she goes by say she's talking about work and studying. So she refers to that aspect as multitasking. So it's multitasking in a sense, pronounced multitasking. The I is a diphthong, multitasking refers to the ability to do multiple tasks or multiple things at the same time. Like in a call center, you need to speak, take notes, and work on your system steps. So working for a call center requires this. So she continues here by saying, you gotta juggle work and studies. Here, juggle is the act of people throwing things in the air and not dropping things. That is to juggle. So what she refers to in this context is that she's talking about balancing. So you need to balance your work and your study. So you gotta juggle work and studies. That's what she's referring to. I believe it can be super rewarding. Here she's using super as an adverb to modify rewarding, meaning super, very, very. So she's saying very rewarding. The adjective rewarding means satisfying, or when you feel a sense of satisfaction, or you feel you receive some kind of reward for working and studying, like an achievement. Oh, I was able to do my university exams and do a great job this week at the call center. So it's rewarding. You know, I feel rewarded for that. You know, gaining experience and getting an education. So most of the time people want to work in a call center because they want to gain experience. Gain, G-A-I-N, means to obtain. So we use this collocation of gain, the verb gain, in experience. We gain experience. We acquire the experience. Number 3, weakness. In terms of a job interview question, weakness refers to things that you have opportunities with or things that you're not too good at. So it's a common cliche to be asked about it. The plural form is weaknesses. So take note of that pronunciation. She mentions that one of her weaknesses is that she's a bit of, or a little, of a perfectionist. A perfectionist is obviously a person who wants to always do things correctly or at 100%. She continues by describing it by saying, you know, just make sure that everything is just right. So yeah, it's a person that wants everything to be just right. So it could be, you know, being a perfectionist can be a weakness because you're putting too much pressure on yourself to always achieve 100%. And that can also be, that can hinder you from moving on. So some people say, no, I don't want to do that because I want to do it 100%. It's like that example of that student that told me, you know, I want 100% English. So he wanted to be a perfectionist in getting listening at 100%. I said to him, I mean, if you do that, it's going to take you like forever. So, you know, that's considered a weakness here. She continues by saying, I'm working on it. That means when you are working on something, that means that you're doing something to improve it, to change it. So I'm working on my weight. I'm trying to do exercise 3 times a week. So I'm doing something about it. And in terms of a job interview, it's good to always mention a weakness and how you're trying to work on it or change it. And also strength, pronounced strength. Notice the pronunciation. Be careful not to pronounce the letter G, so you don't say strange. So here you say strength with a TH and ignore the letter G. So strength refers to skills, abilities that you possess. You know, so for example, communication. I mean, you're a good communicator. That's a strength. Or speaking in public. That's a strength. Things that you have skills or abilities, like, for example, using software or computers. That's a strength. One of my skills. Like paying attention to details and stuff. So, you know, maybe one of our strengths is paying attention to the details, to the specifics. And she uses the term here, stuff, S-T-U-F-F. Stuff means things, paying attention to things. It's an informal way of saying things. And just as a note, stuff does not have a plural form. So we do not say stuffs. That's a very common mistake that we hear because we want to find a plural form for it. We just say stuff. So stuffs is incorrect. So if you want to say, I have a lot of things to do, you could say, I have a lot of stuff to do. It's the same thing. So it does not have a plural form with stuff, okay? Talking about the vacation trip, she goes to say here, I went to the beach with my friends. It was kind of like a chill vibe. When something is chill, it's relaxing, right? So, hey, how you doing? I'm chilling. I'm relaxing. And a chill vibe, that means like the environment. So it was a relaxed environment, you might want to say, right? You know, just relaxing and enjoying the sun. So here, she's just describing the environment. It was relaxing. We say enjoying the sun, you know, it's just having a good time out there in the sun. And she continues by saying, I mean, everyone needs a break from the hustle. So the hustle refers to, you know, everyday activities, the routine, the pressures of life. That's what we say, the hustle, the high speed, you know, a way that we live our lives today. So everyone needs a break from the hustle. Okay. Let's jump on to number 5. With question in terms of working from home. So she constantly repeats back the questions, and that's a technique that you can use to give yourself some time. She says here that working from home is a mixed bag. A mixed bag is like, have you ever bought candy with different flavors or different types of candy? So it's a mixed bag. And working at a call center is similar because you're going to work with people of different races, different beliefs, different ages. So I remember that the first time I worked at a call center, I turned 31, I guess. And my boss, my supervisor, was 20, I think he was like 22 years old. And I was like, oh, at the beginning, I thought, well, this kid is going to be my boss. And like, this guy's got no experience, I thought to myself. But then it turns out that he really had a lot of experience in using the system and he had knowledge about the product. So, you know, you have to be open-minded. So it's a mixed bag. And my next supervisor was very experienced, was much older, much wiser. So you get to work with different types of people, you know? So that's what she says here. It's a mixed bag. I guess on one hand, you got the comfy pajamas and no commute, which is awesome. But on the other hand, it can be kind of lonely. So here we're using on one hand, but on the other hand combined to make a contrast. So on one hand, working on a call center is a cool environment, but on the other hand, it can be, there's a lot of mental fatigue, right? There's a lot of mental stress because you have to deal with difficult situations. So on one hand, coffee wakes you up in the morning, but on the other hand, drinking too much caffeine could be bad for you. Okay, so that's how we use it. On one hand, but on the other hand, when you want to contrast. Pajamas, I know that in Spanish we say pijamas, but in English you say pajamas. And the word here, commute. Commute means the daily way that you transport yourself to work, from work in your home. You know, it's your commute, like your routine that you take every day to get to work and back home again. It's your commute, right? So your commute could be getting up at 5, taking the bus at 6, being in traffic an hour, then coming back home, getting off at work at 5 and getting home at 6, taking the bus again. So that's a commute. That's a commute. So she refers to the call center as having no commute because obviously you're at home with no pajamas, with your pajamas. She continues by saying, I miss the office banter and stuff. Office banter, you know, are those little chit chats, those little informal, friendly conversations that you have with your coworkers. You know, that's how you build relationships. So when you work at a call center, you're going to be sitting next to Juan every day and next to Carol every day, and they're going to become like your best buddies. So when you're not taking calls, you're going to be, hey, Juan, how's it going, bro? Hey, Carol, how's it going? So you're going to have that chit chat, that daily interaction. Hey, did you hear that Monica got promoted to supervisor? No, really, you don't say. Yeah, you know, and yesterday I got my bonuses because I did pretty good. Oh yeah, good for you, man. I didn't get my bonuses. So you create this office banter, right? Chit chat, office chit chat, if you like. Number 6 is in terms of a best customer service in your country. She uses the phrase I've heard, I have heard, which is the past participle form of the verb hear. I have heard, or I've heard. That means somebody told me somewhere, somebody was talking about it. I've heard like good things about XYZ company. So can you recommend a restaurant? Oh yeah, you know, actually I've heard good things about this restaurant called Macaroni. Oh really? Yeah. So I've heard good things about it. So you can use that to describe. Why did you choose this call center? That's a question that we get asked. Oh, why did you choose TELUS? You could go to Alorica. Oh, you know, I've heard some good things about TELUS. You know, you have a chill vibe environment, so, and a good salary, so that's why I decided. You know what I mean? Oh, okay. Perfect. Let's move on to the phrase on top of things. When you are on top of things, it doesn't mean literally that you are placed over something. It means that you are aware, that you are attentive of something. So I remember that call center agents, they get their money transferred, their deposits for payday. And everybody was like, hey, Carlos, do you have the app? Yeah, I got it. Carlos, let us know when they deposit. Because everybody was like attentive. everybody was on top of their payment, especially on payday. So everybody was on top of it. They were very attentive, very aware of it, you know? So that's to be on top of things. Number 7, getting a tattoo. Everybody knows what a tattoo is, but we use it as the collocation with tattoo is we use the verb get. So we get a tattoo, right? So I'm going to get a tattoo. Last year, I got a tattoo. Have you thought about getting a tattoo? So that's how we use it. Next, she says here, like make maybe something small or meaningful. So she's describing what type of tattoo. So she wants to get something, a small tattoo, but also meaningful, that it has a background story. Like, oh, you got an eagle. Why did you get an eagle? What's the story? Oh yeah, this eagle reminds me of the time that I had to do this thing, bro. And it reminds me of my wife, you know, like the wings. Yeah, it's meaningful. All right. And he says, I guess I'm still deciding on what to get. It's a big step. So if it's a big step, it's an important decision. It's not like, you know, just like it's not like going to McDonald's and say I want a Big Mac or a quarter pounder. It's like, you know, you're going to choose a call center. So which one? It's a big step. You're going to be there 8 hours a day. So it's a big step, you know. So when way back, I worked as a teacher for schools and coordinator for roughly 16 years of my life. And when I decided to switch careers, to start a career in a call center, it was a big step because it was like, should I do it? Should I not do it? You know, so it was a big step. It was an important decision in my life. Moving on here to number 8, a great opportunity. So if you want to work at a call center, of course, you describe it as a great opportunity to learn new skills. Why do people want to work in a call center? Well, because call centers offer a bunch of stuff. One of the things that they offer is the flexibility. You can work from home for some call centers, right? Also, for some call centers, you don't need to use a uniform, so you don't need to go formal, or you don't need to cut your hair. It's very flexible, you know, in that sense. And also another thing that a call center may offer is a chance to develop communication skills. So you use this collocation, like a chance, an opportunity to develop my skills, a chance to develop my listening, a chance to develop my speaking, you know, my customer service, etc. The term plus means and. So she's just saying plus the environment can be kind of vibrant. Vibrant, that means exciting, you know. In a call center, things are moving fast, you know, customers and new situations, new policies, especially if you're working on site, it can be kind of vibrant, you know, always things happening. So it could be kind of vibrant. And there's like room for growth. Room for growth means here that you can work hard and do your best to have opportunity to be promoted, to grow within the company, to do different positions, to try out different things, you know, different types of jobs in the call center. So there is room for growth. In a big call center, there is room for growth. Absolutely. Moving on now with it's a good starting point. A good starting point means like it, you know, it's a good first experience. It's a good first attempt. So your starting point is the point where you begin something. So if you want to, let's say, you know, in your career, let's say you want to be a translator, a certified translator at university. A call center is a great starting point because you get to use a lot of English, you speak to native speakers. So it's a great starting point. Or let's say that your plan is to be a teacher in the future, right? You want to be an English teacher. So working at a call center is a great starting point because you get to listen to real English, you get to do, you know, have conversations with real customers. So it's a great starting point to engage in natural English. Okay. Saving stuff in terms of the burning building. To save stuff is to to take something away from danger. So with the fire situation, you want to save stuff. You want to save your photos. You want to save your laptop. So you want to save those things. And finally, and with this I close, and then I'll take your questions. I guess it would be like my laptop's got all my memories and important stuff. And important things, in other words, it's got all my important things in it. Okay, guys, so that's a quick rundown of the vocabulary. And of course, the list is here provided, so you guys can read other definitions of the terms that I just quickly described. So now let's do some Q&A. We'll do it quickly. We got like 4 minutes to wrap up the Q&A. So we'll start with the order. I think it was first Jonathan, then it was Dulce, and then it was Ivan, correct? Yep. Am I correct? Okay, so let's pass the microphone to the QA. Okay, we're gonna take some Q&A. Can we pass the microphone over down there? Yes. Okay. Okay. Great. So, so Jonathan, your question was used to, get used to, right?
Yeah, it's correct.
Yes, sir. Let me see. Let me see the context. Yeah, I see it here. So, to get used to is what we call a modal-like verb. So it's a modal-like verb. So it means like it's one of the modal verbs, like you know, like those modal verbs that we use in English, like will, shall, ought to, right? So it's a verb that can convey and express different meanings. Normally, when we use used to, right, plus the verb in the base form, we talk about things that we did in the past, what we stopped doing. However, there's another structure when we incorporate get plus used to plus the verb in the base form. When we use this specific structure, we're not referring to things that we did in the past and we stopped doing, but we're referring to things that we have become familiar or acquainted or that are normal to us. So, for example, right now you feel comfortable in my class because you have gotten used to my style, right? Now you're not nervous. Now you're not scared because you have become familiar with me.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you. Yeah,
My pleasure.
correct.
Yes. Dulce, your question. Dulce, question.
Okay, sorry, but I forget it.
Okay, great. Ivan, your question.
I'm gonna thinking about it, okay?
Yeah, sure. Ivan, your question.
Okay, my question is related to the phrase on top of things.
Yes,
I
sir.
think I wrote it on top of things. When you're like a supervisor or a lead, you can say to your people today or from now on, I'll be on top of you.
Yes. You can. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. That means I'm going to control, I'm going to be very aware, I'm going to be very attentive. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, exactly. So let's say that your employees, your team does a specific task, right? Let's say like X task. So you're gonna say, okay, guys, this week I'm going to be on top of X task. That means I'm going to monitor, I'm going to supervise, I'm going to give you feedback. I'm going to be on top of it, right? I'm going to be very aware and attentive to that.
But you can say it directly to people, like I'm going to be on top of you.
Yes, you can in the context of like a conversation, but you have to be a little bit, let's say, you have to have a little bit more tactfulness with people at work. You understand?
Yeah.
So another way, you have to have a little tact. So you could say, guys, I'm going to look out for XYZ things, right? Because if you say I'm going to be on top of you, it's going to be like perhaps people will take it too aggressive in their terms.
Yeah.
Number one, opening. Thank you for calling Amazon customer service. This is Carlos. How may I help you today? 2, empathy. Hi, Mr. Customer. I can relate to what you're saying about your package, and I'm very sorry to hear you haven't received it yet. Assurance. Please understand that you're my priority at this moment, and you're talking to a tracking expert here at Amazon. I can definitely verify on my end the status of your verification. Can I please have your order number, please? Thank you. Would you please go next step? Okay, hold procedure. Mr. Customer, I need to work on my system for a couple of moments. Can I place you on hold for 2 minutes while I work on the system? Yes? Thank you so much, sir. Okay, Mr. Customer, as my system information shows, the package was delivered on 12/1. Okay, Mr. Customer, just to be on the same page, you will receive your package tomorrow
at 7:30 a.m. through UPS. Once again, my name is Rocky Balboa. Thank you very much for choosing Amazon. Have a wonderful day, a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. Blessing to everybody at the family. See ya. Bye-bye. Now let's go to the ending. We're going to finish the call. Finally. Okay, so this is how we do it. This is a cool phrase. Once again, my name is, and then you say your agent name, Leo. Once again, my name is Leo.